Nam Yoho Renge Kyo, Nam Yoho Renge Kyo, Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. Hi, evening, and welcome to The Way of Conscious Mindfulness, a weekly podcast and YouTube show discussing spirituality and science, health and well-being with mind, body and spirit, with a Daoist twist. The Tao means the way, the path, the balance. Now, we are not the normal talk show. Each week we have a different subject or guest. We have a very lovely guest this week. And our aim is to have an open discussion and to help us all find new skills and new techniques to balance our very own personal Tao. Now, this show is actually even different to normal for us. This week, at the moment, there is myself as the co-host, and possibly Robbie will be reappearing as he does when the next mediumship, when he's done his next mediumship, he will reappear as if by magic, as he always does. So for now, it's just me. There is no the questioner tonight. He's off on a secret mission. Agent 35 is also off on a secret mission somewhere, having fun. So tonight, as I said, it's going to be a different show. It's going to be myself, and we have the guest, the very wonderful guest. So the guest is Victoria Vives. Victoria Vives is a shamanic healer. She has been some shamanic healer. She also does spiritual and energy healing and teaching. And she's also connected to, co-founder of the Earth Sky People International Community and Movement, which we'll be talking about. Now, so, as I say, it's a different show this week. It's going to start off a bit quiet, and then probably Robbie will. So, the show is called The Way of Victoria Vives. So, Victoria, please tell me, what is your Tao? What is your way? What is the way of?
First of all, if you allow me, I would love to say hi to you, of course, and to all your viewers and listeners. I know how hard it is to have a show every single week. I did that for a full year. And congratulations for doing this. And also thank you to all your listeners and viewers for being here. And answering your question, my Tao that I live by, I would say, is to know thyself. I feel that would be, if I can summarize everything, I think I will pick that one. And if you want, I can elaborate.
It's hot here as well, hence why I got a fan. So yeah, I mean, funny enough, we had our year, we did a year. It was our year anniversary about a month ago now, so we've been going 1 year, 1 month. Yeah, it's an interesting journey, an interesting ride. You learn. Well, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from other people, which is always cool. So yeah. So tell me. Let's see. For those. Not that most of my listeners are quite well knowledgeable, but for those who don't, let's start off with a shaman. What is a shaman, and what is your shamanic way? What is your path when it comes to the shaman side?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, so the shamanic path is a way of living in harmony with all of life. For me, it's becoming a caretaker of Mother Earth, and of course, it's also the art of direct revelation. So that means that even if we are not shamanic healers, shamanic practitioners, we can always tap into that wisdom from nature of connecting with the elements, with the plant people, animal people. And in my personal case, well, I have the lineages. One is the intertribal or cross-cultural, and then the other one is the Zulu tradition. So those are my teachers, my lineage. But the amazing thing about shamanism is that it was all around the world. It's the ancient a spiritual practice that was all around the world. And many of those practices were exactly the same in different sides of the globe. So like right now that you are there in England, I'm here in, in the US. And imagine if we didn't have this connection in internet, how would I know what you're doing, right? And how would you know what I am doing? But even like that, they were doing exactly the same for thousands of years. So to me, that means that truly we were so connected with nature, with all our environment, with Mother Earth, that it was more of a language of connecting with all that information beyond the veil. So I can elaborate more, but I think that I don't want to take over the whole show with that theme. So.
Well, it's your show, you can take over. But I have another question. So the Zulu side, what does that entail? What is with the shamanic side in Zulu? What is that?
The Zulu tradition? Okay, yeah, so my beautiful mentor, my gogo, which is like my shamanic mother, she studied in the Zulu tradition. So she went to Africa, and me being part African, my dad is from Nigeria, I felt a great disconnection with my roots. So it was amazing that she was able to reconnect me with all of that. So that's part of the lineage that I'm part of. So that's that aspect. Although she's also in the cross-cultural tradition or intertribal, so my strength would be more in that part, but I still have that Zulu tradition in me. And in fact, I'm wearing this bracelet is from that tradition, is medicine. So it's staying with me for a few years now. It's supposed to break up when the medicine is complete, and all my shamanic sisters, they complete with it. But I don't know what's happening with this one. I'm still here after like over 3 years, So it reminds me what is my lineage as well, so I can put that in my heart.
Yeah. There's an interesting. There's an interesting and actually not on me at the moment because I'm trained in Eastern, in Chinese, a Daoist shamanic side called the Dragon Dog, or Long Fu Wu Jian, Xun Qi Shen, and big long name just means flowing energy spirit of the Dragon Dog shaman. And the thing with like bracelets, especially with me, bracelets and amulets, is that after a period of time they just dissolve, they just fall apart. And in the Eastern tradition is, when it's time for it, when you don't no longer need it, it disappears or it falls apart. You move on to the next one, but you obviously still need it. You still need your power tool.
Yes, I think so. And I think a big part is to remind me of my lineage. I think so, because I continue, like I'm always learning something, different trainings, different teachers. But this one is always reminding me, yes, you can go into all of these different learnings, it's fine. But remember, the Zulu aspect is
remember your roots.
Yeah.
Indeed. Always remember your roots. So with the shamanic healing, how we'll explore that just a little bit more. How does it work? Is it just, is it for those who don't know, is it just herbs? Is it energy? What is it? How for you does it work?
Well, that's the amazing thing about shamanism. There are no rules. As long as we offer it from a place of love and, with the assistance of our helping spirits, as long as there is that aspect, truly is the more freedom I experience in healing, because I teach Reiki, crystal healing, EFT, I teach all sorts of classes, but when I'm able to teach shamanism, I can truly guide a student on how to weave all their different tools and putting their heart into it and being able to create amazing healing. Not create, of course, we don't create that, but to channel through them, because shamanism is going to use anything that the person can provide. So if one person uses herbs, yes, they're going to be healing with herbs. If one person do mediumship, they're going to be using the mediumship. And in fact, in the Zulu tradition, there are normally different specialties. So one person is going to be working more with herbs, some more like the prophetic aspect. So normally we have our strength, and normally we focus on those.
Yeah, the mute button to put me back on, so there's no echo. Normally there's another code here, and they come in straight away with a question. But right, so okay, so we've sort of explored there for now. I'm interested in the Earth Sky People International. So what is this? What
awesome.
Is this? Explain.
Well, I'm glad that you asked for that, because I think in the introduction it wasn't completely clear. So I want to make sure that the idea is really conveyed, you know. Okay, so Earth Sky People, first of all, the idea came up between my husband and I. And the reason why is that he's all about Earth and I'm all about sky. And what I say this, I mean, I love Mother Earth and my work is with Mother Earth, and at the same time, it's from a more ethereal level. So there is a lot of a spiritual aspect to it, whereas my husband is more down to earth, down to things that he can do with his hands. So in a relationship, as you can imagine, there are a lot of things in which we are opposites. You know, one is totally earth, one is totally sky. So that's when we felt, you know, I mean, if even within our relationship, we are having all these things, imagine putting this into the world if we want to become oneness. So let's do something together in which we can merge both aspects and understand this diversity is what we need. How can we become the different facets of something greater? So that was the idea that originated creating Earth Sky People between he and I. And it's basically enveloping many things that can help us evolving in our consciousness, like expanding our consciousness, but also reconnecting and rewilding, reconnecting with each other, reconnecting with the plant people, reconnecting with the earth. So we do a lot of things like going and explore primitive skills. You know, how did people live before? How they use herbs for healing, how they even started fire with sticks, how they knew how to survive in nature beyond the matrix, as we call it. So there is a lot of that. And at the same time, of course, my path is in shamanism and healing. So we did together a full year plant medicine certification course. And I teach all my classes in shamanism and Reiki and sound healing, all of this. So it's a lot of different things. And the idea is mostly to free ourselves, to become sovereign, to not believe. We don't want people to believe that they, what I mean is, I feel we gave our authority to everything else. You know, spiritually, we can search within, but instead, many times we are asking other people, we are going to a religious group, why not really tap with the spirituality from within? We have authority to decide what is good, what is not, what we feel. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is medicine. You know, we can learn how to work with beautiful plants and heal ourselves, or we can give out that authority and instead depend on a medical system that not always have their best interests at heart. Sometimes, I mean, I have students that are in the medical industry and they're amazing and they're transforming it, and I'm so proud of them. But then there is other people that, you know, it was just a career choice in order to become successful. So if there is not a vocation, how are we going to put our lives in the hands of, you know, people that maybe don't have their heart in it? So that's another aspect. And we just feel that there are so many things in our lives that we are not taking responsibility. And this is a huge aspect, the responsibility, because part of giving our authority to others is that we don't want to take responsibility. It's more comfortable, even though at the end, we are selling our souls in a sense. But if we regain that authority, it's going to take lifestyle changes, taking responsibility of things, and it takes work. Like, for example, right now we are growing in our yard squashes and bananas and lemons and tomatoes, so I mean, of course we combine with going to the market a lot, and at the same time it is a responsibility to make sure that we are with those plants. But what we realized is that as soon as we establish an ecosystem in our garden that works, Mother Earth does the rest. So everything takes that little step, and that little step may take a full year of dedicating ourselves to learn how to grow our garden. Another year, how to heal ourselves. Another year, how to connect spiritually with what we want to soothe our souls. But if we start taking those steps, the next generation will have it automatically, because we pass this to the next generation naturally. So I feel it is so worth it. And that's what we are encouraging people to do. And another very important aspect, I'm taking advantage of what you told me that I can take over the show. But if you need me to stop, just let me know, because I'm very passionate about this theme, okay?
You're enjoying yourself. You go, girl. You just go. I've got a couple of ideas and questions coming up, but you just go. You ramble away. You carry on going.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, another amazing thing is our time. After having a scarcity and money for many, many years, this was one of the things that I went through, from poverty and scarcity to a situation in which I feel pretty stable. I thought money was like the big deal that we are all needing, but seriously, time, when you don't have time, that's a huge thing. And what happens is that most of us are giving our time to causes that have nothing to do with us, just in exchange of money. So if at the end of our days we have covered our needs, but we don't have anything left because we have given our lives to I don't know, our 9-to-5 job, and then we have been in traffic for 2 hours. I don't know how it's in England, but here it's like that, like in Los Angeles, traffic for a couple of hours to go and then to come back. So imagine, why would we do that? Why would we give all our time, all our energy? The only reason is because we need that money to survive, or we think we do. I don't think that's true. And when you start going into nature, I don't know how connected you are with those ideas, but the more we go to nature and we start seeing, oh wow, I can have so many free things just by being here. It's like going to a free supermarket if you know how to recognize the plants, what you can eat, how to find water that you can filter in a certain way. Seriously, it's like, I'm living here for free. Why would I come back home? So my husband and I used to go every single week, 3 days, just to be there. And we realized a lot about these things and how much better we felt, but also how much more healthy. We are beings that are supposed to be looking at the sky, connecting with nature, having our soles of our feet grounding with Mother Earth, connecting with each other, without all these walls. Of course, it's very nice to have our own private space, and we value that a lot. But at the same time, how can we become a tribe, have a community, so that we don't feel so isolated? Restoring all those connections with one another, with our own authority, with other beings in the planet. All of this is our passion. It's like, I really want to offer this for people who is interested in this exploration. I feel it changes lives. And we see it every time, especially in outdoor classes. We bring a group of people to the mountains, and some of them are like, oh, I don't even want to see a spider. I don't like this. I don't want to sit on the floor. But then at the end of the day, you can see the transformation, and they're like, wow, you know, we have a year of classes and apprenticeship. Out of the whole year, this class has been life-changing. They are so transformed. And it is not about us, it's about nature, you know, and how we can connect with it. We have forgotten how to do that because we are not taught that. You know, we go to school, we don't learn any of this. So all of this, I feel, is, you know, our mission in Earth Sky People, to do as much as we can. So we had the radio show for a full year, but, you know, it may come back, but it's a lot of dedication on top of the classes, and, you know, so.
A lot of
anyway, I need to be silent a little bit now.
I'll talk for a little bit and then you can carry on again. Yeah, the show, people don't get with shows how much work behind the scenes. It's one of the cool, when you have other people, co-hosts coming on, and then you go, well, I've you know, you've done this, and this, all to create it. But like you're saying, like, you know, that's awesome about, you know, connecting with Mother Nature, connecting with the earth. And there's a Daoist saying, a saying that is, you should play like a child but take responsibility like an adult. So meaning, yeah, you need to take responsibility for the earth. You know, it is our mother, you know, it is Gaia, it is yes, it is, you know, it is, you have to take responsibility. So, you know, there is this, you know, we interact with responsibility for our actions. So yes, you know, the more you have to take responsibility. So that's the adult side, but at the same time, you need to play, you need to go out and explore, you need to have adventure, you need to have fun, and that's now if the other co-host Chris was here, he'd be raising an eyebrow now, because here comes the trusty Tai Chi hammer. This is about the yin and the yang, and the masculine, the feminine, the light and the dark. Now, people call it yin yang. This symbol is actually called the Tai Chi. Because yin and yang are coming together in harmony. And this is what people don't get. Like in nature, important things. Nature is very much about complementary opposites. You have things working in harmony, working with each other, rather than in human society, we tend to work against each other and against things. And we see this, call it yin yang, but yin yang would actually be half a black circle or half a red circle and half a yellow circle, because it opposes opposites. Right, wrong, this, that. And that's very much our society. Now, when you go into nature, it's very far more about complementary opposites and about phasing, one thing phasing into the other. You know, the winter going into the spring going into the summer, you have a midsummer, or the hot summer, then you've got the autumn, then the autumn going to winter, and it goes through this phase. But also very prominent in nature, when you look, nature is very abundant. Humans talk about scarcity and everything's limited, and you know, this is why we have, one of the reasons you have money is because money limits things. It puts a target, it makes things subjective, it puts things in boxes. Nature is abundant. Nature, it has this abundance. You just, the responsibility to know where to look for it and take responsibility of finding it and caring for it, which is against the whole thing of Gaia, you know, is that the Gaia looks after us and we have to look after her. That's how relationships should work. That's what that's all about. It's a caring relationship. One's looking after the other, creating balance. So it's this, so the sky, I mean, that's awesome, because, you know, you have above heaven and earth, and balancing the two. And yeah, it's when you first take people out of society, they become scared little children. about the spiders or this or that, and they get very nervous because they haven't got all their modcons, all their luxuries. But all their luxuries are not really luxuries. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are actually limiting them, restricting their ability. When you go out and play out in nature, when you've got the jungle to explore, there's so much that it's not just your enthusiasm expands, your mind expands, your body expands, your spirit expands. See, I can talk as much as you. So
yes. Good job.
I mean, that's really cool. And I mean, how many years have you been going? How many years started this adventure?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. I actually not totally sure. Let's see, I started teaching healing in 2010, 2011. I mean, I've been in healing since 2000, but teaching, is the next step. So that was like around 2011. And then for a couple of years, we actually, because we were both coming from martial arts. So imagine the change from martial arts. Then suddenly I was like, okay, I'm done being kicked and kicking people. Now I want to heal and be healed, So I just wanted to focus on that 100%. So I'm a little bit like that. I'm Libra, supposed to be very balanced, but I explore things in depth. I like 100% of this energy. And then once I integrate it, it's like, okay, now I can merge with other things. So I totally switched.
So what martial arts? You said my favorite subject. What martial arts do you do? With your husband?
Okay, so this is a long story because I started with Wing Chun, and the reason why it was because that was what the stunt choreographer that I knew could share about, and I was looking for something to find my center. So I felt this is perfect. I need to learn this Wing Chun because of the center line. I really want this. So I started with that, but then it evolved into some Wushu and other things because my focus was mostly stage combat and fight choreography. I have a strong background in entertainment. So because of that, my way of seeing it was energy, and at the same time, it was art. So I wanted something, for fight choreography, stunt, and things like that. But then I met my husband, and it's so funny because I met him and I wanted to learn from him, but then I really didn't like his style, which was Jeet Kune Do. So this is Bruce Lee's style. And the thing is, of course, it's amazing, and I admire Bruce Lee, but it wasn't the flashy thing for me to be doing high spinning kicks and stuff like that. So it was more practical for sparring and for freeform and things like that. So I wasn't very excited. So I was like, oh, I'm not interested. But then a year later, we got together, and actually we both were teaching Jeet Kune Do. So I learned, and then I started teaching with him. So that was more or less what I learned in martial arts. But yeah,
Wing Chun was invented by a woman. It was, the founder teacher of Wing Chun was a woman. Yeah. So, not to offend, but it would have been a perfect style for you to begin with, because it is using minimum effort in a powerful way. And like the simple fact of the punch extends outwards like this, because there's more power in these tendons doing it this way than there is going that way. I also come from a martial art background: Shaolin Kung Fu,
nice.
Tai Chi.
Very cool.
Hua Chang, Xin Yi. Then I also did Dragon Kung Fu, Drunken, and Tong Long, which is praying mantis. So and then I used to do close protection. I was a bodyguard, close protection officer, on and off for many years. But because these are known as Daoist arts, Daoist martial arts, and in the Daoist way of thinking, it's all about the 3 M's. So martial, but also fitness, medical. So there's self-healing. So these arts actually are keeping you fit, but they're also stretching your meridians, your chakras, your auras, your Merkaba, and your Denshins, or at least one style. I learned all of those, that all those systems all exist all at once. You know, some people talk about chakras, some people talk about meridians and auras, or the Torah field, but in this ancient system, all of them are all you. They're all part of the same. So yeah, so martial arts is the 3 M's. So it's medical, martial, and meditational. So that's how I learned. My style was from that. So
perfect. And you know, for me, it was a little similar in the sense that I always wanted to learn the tradition. So I always asked my teachers, you know, can you teach me about Zen and about meditation and about this and that? Even if they wouldn't be teaching it, I would stay afterwards and see if they can teach me something. And then the good thing about my husband is that he's an acupuncturist too. So he learned the healing aspect and heat medicine. I don't know if you are familiar, traumatology. So we incorporate all of this into the plant medicine certification too, because you never know. So we always like to see the holistic aspect. So I totally agree with what you're sharing about different aspects in martial arts. I like that. It sounds very good, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Well, there's an old, it's a Daoist saying, it's a Shaolin, and it's also a samurai saying, is that everything you learn enhances everything else you do. So,
oh my goodness, goodness. You really have to send me that saying, because I've been fighting for that cause all my life, and everybody's like, you need to focus, you need to choose one thing, and I'm like, I cannot, sorry, I cannot. And I feel that because martial arts improve my dancing technique, and everything goes together. But people, oh, please send me that saying. That is so awesome. I love it.
I did martial arts from the age of 12 onwards, but by 15 I started ice skating, and one of the things everybody said was I skate like Jackie Chan on ice. Is that I look like I'm going to fall over, but I'm all over the place, but I'm really skilled at the same time. My ice skating, my roller skating's always been like that, and I've always contributed that to martial arts. And some of the best martial artists, well, some of the best dancers I know become very good martial artists, and the other way around is that if you're, you know, is that the skills of martial arts adapts very easily to other things. And then when you learn like samurai, or you learn like Shaolin, like the samurai warriors would learn the tea ceremony. So they learned how to make the proper green tea. And that was, some of that was through healing, the actual medicine of the green tea. And same with, they actually learned about miso as well, miso soup. And that's really got lots of enzymes, which helps break down the food. But it's also a lot about patience, and then to learn about the bonsai. And that's about patience, and that's about nature. So it was this very Eastern thing about, you learn all these different things. Now,
and poetry and flower arranging to do as well, like all of these genteel things that you would never expect like a mad warrior to be doing, but they were doing all of these gentle, lovely things, you know. And it's just part of being an all-round warrior, having a rounded energy. Fantastic.
Victoria, Robbie.
Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Hi
so
there.
good having you here. I'm so glad you can join us.
Me too. Until the phone rings.
Okay, great. Let's take advantage of that.
So, all about, you know, it is in the UK, I think, similar to like some people have said to you, in the UK, I used to get people who say, oh, you know, learning lots of skills is a jack of all trades and a master of none. And it's like, but specializing, when you specialize on something, yes, you know all of that, but it's like looking at one point. In martial arts, you should never be focusing on one point. You should be looking at the whole aspect of the person, because otherwise, if you're busy looking at my eyes, I can kick you in the ghoulies, you know, or I can stamp on your foot. So the idea is by having your awareness, your full awareness, you can pick up lots of information. Yeah. So learning lots of different skills. So, you know, through my 35 years, I've learned martial arts. I've learned quantum physics. I've learned food and nutrition. I was a chef, trained as a chef and a baker. I've learned, because I do Chinese, I do Chinese massage, I do Tuina, I do shiatsu, I do reflexology, I do acupressure. So I had to learn anatomy and physiology. I had to learn, as part of my training, had to learn about body mechanics, how the muscles work, how the tendons work, because this is all important. And then, like, since then, I've learned about back posture and you know, and about getting your bed right. So when you sleep, you wake, you know, when you go to sleep, you should wake up all refreshed. If you're aching, that's like putting an elastic band on your wrist. Your body has had circulation cut off. But again, in the West, when you speak to a doctor and you say, "Oh, I've got an ache in my back," and he says, "Oh, that's old age."
No, we cannot settle for that. We need to think, how can I improve myself always? And I want to make sure I give opportunity for everybody to have him here. Be silent in case he has a question or something.
I was excited to look at.
Do you have a question?
Sorry, I was excited to look. I don't know what you've discussed already. I'm coming in a little bit late here, you know. But it's lovely to meet you. I was looking at your video. It's fantastic. Yeah, really good, really exciting. Yeah, great energy work, you know. And, yeah, how do you see your role in what's seen as Ascension just now?
My role in Ascension?
Yeah.
Well, for sure, I think Ascension is only within each person. So I feel that as long as we are really devoted to that Ascension, then we inspire that in others. It's inevitable. And when I say devoted, I say it in a joyful way. You know, I feel that a big part of Ascension, for me, Ascension is more like expansion. So, because sometimes we feel, oh, it's going high, but for me, it's more like an encompassing of all that is, of oneness. Like, now we integrate everything. So that's what I live my life by. And I was saying in the beginning, my Tao is to know thyself. So knowing thyself is how to learn about myself. And as I learn about myself, I learn about everything else. And we come to this place of oneness and unconditional love. So I do that, you know, to the best of my ability in my own life. And then I teach classes, and I like to put out like videos and things as much as possible to make it contagious, you know. And I really want people to be happy and enjoy, because sometimes we are so serious and we are working so hard, and at the end of the day, what we have left, you know.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, you're doing that. You are really doing that, you know. And I agree with you. It's internal. It has to be internal first. It has to come from within, because there's no, it has to be individual. It has to be experiential as well. Can you see, you're seeing the shift though that's happening, because so many people are awakening. You know, it's like it's got a knock-on effect. Like, as you're joyful, so other people are joyful. So it's a knock-on. It's like dominoes, everybody falling, you know, and all of the different changes that are happening societally, you know, and internally, you know, it's like it all has to happen internally first. But I agree with you. Yeah. No, I saw some of your videos. Really exciting work with your and your shamanism. How did you come across your realizing that you were going to be a shaman? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is called the healer's call or calling. And it is something that life will tell you very clearly and very loudly. So basically, a lot of trauma, a lot of stuff happening, including a near-death experience, Kundalini awakening, third eye opening, like all sorts of things will be thrown at you. Like, okay, let's just throw and like break as many walls as we can until she is ready.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was impossible not to realize, because life will just remind you very strongly. The helping spirits are going to be there reminding you this is the path, and everything is guided, and the more we receive, the stronger the message becomes. So there is a point in which you surrender to it, and it's like, okay, well, I'll do it.
Yeah.
It is my honor, of course, to be in this path.
Yes, yeah, fantastic, yeah, and you see this knocking on. So you do this on your. I was having a look at. I didn't have that much time, but I had a wee look at some of your videos, and I like the fun videos as well, the kung fu videos and all of that as well. Having fun, yeah.
Thank you for telling me that, because many times I've been recommended, oh, you should erase your past from the internet, and I'm like, hello, this is my past, and
exactly.
To me, like a trail that I left, and that's who I was, and I'm happy about it. It's part of my expression, and I refine that expression, but at the same time, it helps me connecting with people that otherwise would not connect with healing. And I have had this experience many times. People that laugh about healing and about all of this, they saw that I can relate to where they are. I grew up in a ghetto-like neighborhood with all the bad guys and all this stuff. So I can really relate to a lot of different people. My ethnicity is all mixed. My father is Nigerian, but part English, by the way. Yeah. My grandmother's dad is from Germany, but we are also part Jewish. So there is all this mix of things, and I feel that it's beauty. To me, diversity is fine. We connect with everybody, and the one that is pure in one ethnicity, great as well. So just releasing barriers, and the same with the things I have done in my life, martial arts and videos and modeling, and I'm wanting to integrate everything. I want to be at the very center of everything, because that's what for me means oneness. To be, how can I be in peace with everything and look at everything without judgment from a place of unconditional love? I think that would be another way of seeing my Tao.
Yeah. Very exciting, and very excited for you as well. Your energy is very bubbly and very up and very contagious. So you're very much in the flow, I can feel that flow, really, really powerful. So, when you connect with, how does your shamanism work? How do you, because different people connect in different ways, different people use different tools or different, there was a chap on that did the ayahuasca, connecting with the shamans that way. There's different people that connect with different, how do you do it? How do you, connect with, what is your, do you use guides, or how does the energy come to you?
Okay, so I have two answers for that. The first answer is, to me, shamanism is a way of living. So that means that I'm always connected. I'm always listening and receiving information, or aware, open to that, because everybody has access to everything. Yes. It's just where we are focused, right? So part of walking this path is to do our best to always be aware of all that is, meaning that would be overwhelming. So not that exactly, but if I look into a plant, not just looking the beauty physically, but also making that a strong connection spiritually. So that's one part. And then the other aspect would be the drum. So for me, the drum, the rattles, that is a huge aspect of connecting. And I mean, I feel most people can relate to that idea of listening to the drum beat, or even listening to music. You know, it really transports us to something deeper or different. So for me, that is my modality, to work with the drum and to work with the rattles.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's what you do in your workshops. You use the drums and the rattles, and you connect, and you because it's like you have a channeling energy with you as well. You know, like I'm a trance channeler. I do trance channeling, yeah. But I can see that energy with you. I can see that you have that energy of, you know, the purification of the light, and then it just flows through you, yeah. So you go into that, and you do that while you're drumming, and while you're, you know, that's.
You know, another thing is chanting. I think that transforms, allows me to channel more. When I'm rattling, I start chanting, and this is quite common in shamanic practices, and then the dancing aspect of it. So all of this really allows the spirit to run through us. And the interesting thing is that we don't do that so much as a society. If you go to like Brazil or Africa or other places, they're so connected to this. I used to dance professionally, like samba and other things. So I would be with Brazilian people, Cuban people, and since the morning they were already like singing and dancing. And I'm from Europe, so I was like, I'm still awakening, you know, waking up, and they're already charged up. So this is one of the important points, that you cannot be dancing and singing and be depressed. So instead to start taking all these pills, why don't we tap into a spirit itself and allow it to run through us? Yeah. So your eyes are shining with that light that is running through you. Yeah. But Europe, at least, here also, but maybe a little less, we are so educated, so intelligent, that we become so serious. Yeah. You know, when we become so serious, all that brightness, it goes away. So, you know, we have to be a little less shy.
Probably a falling short, because we're too connected. We're always hello. We're too mental, you know. Because I love knowledge, I love information, I love science, but also I love fun. You know, and fun is the key. You know, learning.
I think that's the highest intelligence, really. I think it's the highest intelligence, not the kind of E=mc² quantum physics intelligence. The greatest intelligence of our spirit is laughter. You know, it's like, if it doesn't have laughter, it's not really spiritual. If it's taking itself too seriously, and look at how spiritual I am, look at how many Siddhi powers I've got and all of that, it's not really, that doesn't really benefit anybody, you know. And I think the lightheartedness, I agree, that's the energy that changes lives, you know. You get much more from having a laugh with an old friend than you do with going to the doctor sometimes, you know what I mean?
You know what? I used to do this.
Just quickly say, you go, Victoria. You go. It's your show. You go.
It's just related to laughter, because I used to do this online event, which was International Chanting for Peace and Laughter. So the first session, it was only for peace. So International Chanting for Peace. So we were chanting, and it was very cool. Different people from different parts in the world, all online. But then the second time I said, we need laughter. We really need to laugh more. So we had comedians. So we did this a few times, and I love it so much. And I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't know if I should, but I'm going to tell you a secret. Yeah. I'm exploring the idea of studying comedy myself.
Me too. I was going to do that as well. I was going to do that too. Fantastic. Yeah.
I'm so excited about it.
You definitely should. If you really want to do it, you should do it, you know. Sometimes I was thinking about the pitfalls of being spiritual and doing a stand-up, you know, or whatever. But the joy is ripping out of you. You know, Victoria, the joy is ripping out of you. So, you know, because that joy is ripping out of you, that's contagious. And when you go on stage, because I used to be an actor, like I trained for 4 years. I came top of my class. I was working, before I had my Kundalini awakening, I gave it all up. I gave up acting. But before, when I was doing that, that's part of your stage presence. Do you know what I mean? It's like being able to be full of joy. That translates to the audience. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not faking it. You're not going on and going, laugh at me. You're already joyful. You know what I mean? And it's the divine heyoka, as they call it. You know, the divine heyoka, the holy man that makes everybody laugh. But there's seriousness in that laughter. Like I was watching, there's a guy, JP Sears. I don't know if you've seen JP Sears' work. But he's a yogi, you know, but he takes the mickey out of our spirituality and the way that we take ourselves too seriously. And, you know, it has to be coconut oil if it's not organic coconut oil, you know, and all of this stuff, you know, because once you laugh, you're connected to your source. Yeah, so you should. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I'm kind of integrating everything back, like, you know, I used to do all the modeling, dancing, singing, and suddenly, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like an acceleration, intensity in the environment, in the energy.
This is what I mean by ascension. I think that part of this is the light workers going, well, you've got something to do, you need to get on with it, you know, and like, what excites you?
I just feel that the last couple of weeks have been crazily intense. Because we have been in this journey for a long time, but I mean, the last couple of weeks is like everything, like in a matter of 1 week, I did fire spinning, singing, drumming, modeling. I did suddenly everything that I didn't do in a while. It was like suddenly everything came, and it's like, oh my goodness, you know what's happening?
It's already to happen even more, you know. So yeah, fantastic. Do it. You should do it. I've thought about doing an open mic, you know, like sometimes, you know, like but I don't know where you are. We're in Spain just now, but so you know. There's not really much opportunity here for doing that kind of thing until we're thinking about America, maybe. But where are you? Where are you? Where are you? You're in.
Where am I? I'm in Los Angeles. This is perfect for this. I mean,
ideal place. We've been thinking about California.
Victoria, I'll translate. Robbie said, "Where are you at this moment in time?"
Yeah, Los Angeles. You know, I'm from Spain. So in the beginning, I couldn't understand any accent. Now
I'm in Estepona.
Estepona?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! You know that my cousin had a house there.
Yeah.
We were on vacation, and it's so beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, yes. This is not a coincidence.
No.
Not a coincidence, because I was speaking about this like a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Everything
happens for a reason. Yeah. We've been thinking about coming to California, you know. Nice. My girl's a model as well, eh? It's like everything that moves forward. I think all the light workers just now are just opening up to the next level of them shining, you know? Like, what is it you love? What is it you're good at? What is it you find fun? And what is going to get the message out there? Do you know what I mean? What's opening it all up? And what excites you, you know? So, Los Angeles is definitely the place to be, you know? I've been thinking about getting back on the wagon with acting as well, you know, like doing some acting. And we've been thinking about LA maybe, you know, and like California definitely anyway, you know, because just so many different opportunities, you know. I mean, Spain is beautiful. It's stunning. It's lovely. But not so many opportunities in that kind of thing, you know.
Right. You know, I go twice a year to teach in Spain because I feel that all that I learned, I really want to share it with my people and also to see my family and my friends. So I teach twice a year. I spend like a month there teaching. But at the same time, I agree with you. Here, there are more possibilities. And what I'm realizing more and more is that every time I teach a class here in the US, people come and say, you know, I don't have any idea why I'm here, why I feel this calling, because my career is fashion, or my career is singing, or my career is this, but I need to do this healing training with you. Yeah. And what I'm realizing is that we are transforming the world. We are relearning how to act in the world, and we are healing career paths. So when I reconnected with all of this, you know, I saw myself in this photo shoot, which was lovely, and at the same time it reminded me how I was before when I was in a photo shoot. I'm a different person. So the art that comes from that, the photo shoots, the video, it has a different energy. It's going to transmit something different. And my presence there, just by being at another place, it offers something new. You know, so maybe some people wants to tap into it. And I have one of my students, he's amazing. So he's a music producer, and he's seeing this, you know, he's putting all his art towards something that maybe is not helping humanity. And at the same time, he knows within himself he's an amazing healer. And sometimes we are in this place that we are not completely transformed. It's like the butterfly didn't come up yet, right? And it's like, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. And I've been like that for like 7 years, you know. The last 7 years, it's like I said no to all my artistic path. So I was in great sadness within, and at the same time excited to embrace the healing aspect. Now, the moment
everything you learn
the cycle
enhances everything else you do.
Exactly. And the cycle, I can
put everything together finally, and I can have a vision for it, and I'm excited because I see the whole world is in this together. So that means that people wants to do it. People need something other than entertainment as it is in the mainstream.
So, and it moves towards mainstream as well. But when you're denying your joy within, when you're saying, I would like to be doing that, why am I not doing that? You know, that's you denying your light, because that's what makes you shine. You know, and you can do them all. You can do all of these things. Like us saying, like, I should be doing the healing, I shouldn't be doing this, because that was my dilemma as well when I was acting as well. I was like, you know, I can't do that. I should be doing my spiritual work, you know. But really, you can do it all. And the healing, that's fundamentals. These are things that you should be doing every day. That's when that becomes as important as you combing your hair, or you brushing your teeth, and you put on your deodorant. Those are fundamentals. You don't forget to do that. You don't forget to make sure your hair looks okay because you want to be presentable. When that becomes fundamental, and that's the lesson, that's what I tell most of my clients, you know, when it becomes fundamental, when it becomes as important as brushing your teeth, you will do it. You will be in your center. You will connect with however you quantify the divine, and that joy will spark out from within you. It will. It does. It can't help but doing that, you know. And that lifts everybody up. That just lifts everybody up, you know. You can see it just beaming out of you.
Very cool. So I want to remind that my time is limited, so I have to start wrapping up.
Well, we're going to wrap it up. So I just wanted, before we do wrap up the show, I just wanted to ask, because we also had in the title was Divine Feminine and Goddess Energy. So what's your connection with Divine Feminine and Goddess Energy?
Well, that's a big theme, but let me see how to summarize it. Basically, one of the big things that we can heal to have one of the greatest transformations is our relationship with sexuality. So we come from oneness, and the first division is into masculine and feminine, and then the dynamics between both of those aspects. So exactly. So whether it is a conspiracy or whether it is nature, we are in a very big mess when it comes to all of this. So we have been, many of us, conditioned, programmed to an amount of things that are not very conducive to good relationships. And in my case, I grew up as a Catholic. I grew up in a dictatorship. So all of that made sexuality and women be in a certain position that wasn't very healthy. And how this develops also, even in the media, how sexuality and how women are treated and represented is part of our education, and it is not a very good education.
Yeah.
So I feel we really need to restore a lot of this, because this is what deteriorates and turns people into sometimes doing things that are not very healthy. But of course, you know, this is where this information is coming from, this distorted. So I feel that, you know, I can relate to how I healed myself from that limitation, from that trauma, from all of that as a woman. So that's why I normally help women moving through this, how we can relate to each other as women in a way that is healthy, how we can honor our bodies in a way that is healthy as well, and how we can relate to men in a way that is also healthy. So I feel that that is my forte, because, you know, I mean, I got to understand men quite well with my training and my life experience. And at the same time, I'm not a man, just in case you didn't notice. So that's why I felt my passion is to guide women to heal that aspect that, you know, when we're talking about sexuality, we are talking about such a creative and powerful force that if we place that in harmony with the rest, everything else is going to transform. So if there is one thing to change, I feel that would be it. I feel it's essential. And it was a challenge for me to change from, you know, teaching like Reiki and healing and other styles into opening to sacred sexuality, you know, guiding women in this very, very intense process of healing our sexuality. And at the same time, it has been one of the most rewarding aspects in my path to see the transformation. Is just incredible. So yeah, this is, you know, what I'm working with, and at the same time, Sacred Union is part of it. So that is like the most, the more advanced teaching I offer, which would be for couples. So I sometimes see couples or offer some things for some women that I train in more advanced techniques. But yeah, hopefully that explains about all of this. There is a lot more to talk about this, but time is limited right now. So.
Well, what we'll do then is, if you'd like, maybe we'll do another show sometime in the future, or maybe next year. We'll do another show, and we'll explore a little bit further on this.
That would be great.
Yeah, really lovely meeting
Sure.
you. Really lovely connecting with you. You know, thanks for coming on the show. Yeah,
thank you so much for this
interesting, lovely story. You know, and I'll look more into your work as well. Exciting. I think you're doing a lot of good for a lot of people. You know, so fantastic. Yeah, and go for it with the comedy. Go, even if it's just for yourself. You know, even if it's just for yourself, just let your spirit fly. You know. So yeah, exciting stuff.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah. Thank you for coming on. Yeah,
a great pleasure to be here with you, and my love to you and all the listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, and thank you. I mean, it was a great show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I say, we will arrange to have you again on sometime in the future, maybe next year. But so I'd like to thank Victoria for such a great show. I'd like to thank, as always, the great mighty Robido for turning up.
Very welcome. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Jua Tao, Ni Hao. And then, so guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. It will be on podcast within the next few days. So take care. Next week, just quickly remind myself, next week we have Kayla Maguire on, and we will be talking about your authenticity power, and she will also be doing an oracle reading for a co-host. I don't know who that is. We'll have to figure that one out. So take care from the lovely Victoria.
Bye.
The awesome.
God bless.
He's bowing. And of course from me. So love, chi, and shen from the Way of Conscious Mindfulness.